sports, all plays, ball courts, pump fakes, crossovers, and some more. All sports, all plays, ballparks, home base, miss that speed by, that's 3 strikes. We know what's happening in the league. All sports, all plays, ASAP. Cause we know what's going down with your team. We'll bring you up to speed ASAP. Not talking about Rihanna's baby daddy, it's the network covering every play that's happening in the ring, on the field, on the courts, on the lane. We gon' cover the game, all sports, all play. All sports, all plays, ball courts, pump fakes, crossovers, and some more. All sports, all plays, ballparks, home base, miss that speed by, that's 3 strikes.
What is going on, everybody? This is season 3, episode 13 of Throwing Hands, the #1 combat sports show in the game. That's a matter of fact. If you're upset, is what it is. How you doing, James? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. Just been cruising through the week. Been excited to see all the fights. You see the recent Islam versus Dustin?
That was a crazy one, just like we were expecting, man. But
Yeah.
like we talked about, Islam's just so well rounded, man. Dustin's a beast. He's a freaking beast. I mean, look at Islam's face afterwards. But
That's the
Islam is
respect I
just
gotta
so
give
well
him.
rounded. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
for
yeah.
real. He especially impressed me with his stand up compared to like when Habib fought Dustin. He didn't really want none of that stand up. Islam was willing to stand and trade.
Well, we knew that, but we knew
Mhm.
Islam could. He carries a punch. But the problem, just like we've seen time and time again, whatever weakness you show, he has the tools to attack that. And he does that
Mhm.
time and time again.
For real, man. For real.
Yeah, we just had SAA Alliance this past weekend, and that
That's
was
right.
that was a great show.
It was a great show. We got to see the winners of the semifinals. We officially have Jorge Figueroa out of Ex Muay Thai Gym going to be facing off against Ruben Navarrete over Satan Gym. Honestly, bro, that's the Stratus Center is more than likely going to be overpacked. They're going to have to start kicking people out.
Yeah, no, especially if it's anything like it was this last time. It was packed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I mean, just that tournament, the way it's set up, the way it's gone this far. I mean, there was so much controversy in the Isaac Carey Richard fight. Then you have, uh, Jorge wins, and during our post fight interview, while Ruben is fighting Richard, he's like, "Man, I kind of hope freaking Ruben wins." So it's an Arizona
Mm-hmm.
versus Arizona guy, and we're watching it. And he ended with a cut. Ruben ends it with a cut. I mean, it was kind of set up that way.
Yeah, it was almost like it was meant to be to have two hometown boys fight for opportunity to go train out in Thailand. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna be dope. And then we got on the 22nd. We have uh, Jose going to Thailand to compete.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And the way that SA have that event set up, it's going to be in the AM. So if you want to support your local Arizona boy fighting out in Thailand, you're going to be able to watch it during the afternoon. Just check out Instagram SA Alliance, and you'll find all the links there.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be really dope. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that whole gym what they got going on. Um, Again, we always talk about how much talent is out here in Arizona, man, and what we're offering out here. This weekend we have Combat Sports Report.
Yes, sir. That'll be officially announced. So we'll be covering Combat Sports Report. They're going to be holding an entire grappling tournament. One of them featuring Mike Kennedy. He's a boy we've had on here before, so definitely stay tuned for that. But on top of it, what you were saying in regards to like talent, we got a special guest today too, who's got phenomenal talent. We've seen him fight 3 times. His debut was at PFA 6. He fought at PFA 7. He fought at PFA 8. Was it 8 or was it 9?
Fought at PFA 8. No, he fought at
Yeah.
PFA 9. He fought John Long.
No, John Long fought Jace Johnson. He fought Tristan Koklanis, and he won the Super
Oh no,
Cruiserweight
that's what we
belt.
want to see. See, look at me over
Yeah.
here. You got me to put me on the spot. Y'all look at you, man. That's what we want to
Nah,
see.
I
See,
know, right?
I done already ran it through my mind a couple times looking.
No, but hey, this guy, he made a premonition that John Long was going to win that fight. He manifested this fight into reality. And this is going to be his first title defense against John Long. So why don't we go and bring him on? The legendary Kenderik Davidson. What's going on, my brother?
Come on, fellas. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. I was just cracking up. I really liked what he said there about that's the fight we want to see, right? So,
it really is, man.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
It really is. We're doing good. We're doing good. So we'll jump on that note. I mean, it's crazy, just how fast Kendrick. I mean, he came on the scene less than a year ago. And that quickly he just took over it. Had his team and hang out there, man. What is up? I mean, what can you contribute all that to, man?
To be honest with you, it's funny. I saw a video the other day, and there was a gentleman talking about kind of what it takes to make it in this game. He was talking about the psychopathy it kind of takes, the obsession. That's something that we talked about too. And I think for me, when I have a passion about something or I'm interested in something, I have this tendency to absolutely spiral all the way down into that subject or that topic, whether it be, languages or fighting, whatever. So I think the obsession of it, number one, but number two, I also think I just have a really high processing speed. I think, Coach told me one time, he's like, you're one of those see it and do it motherfuckers. And I have to, dude, it just seems like I just need to see it once or twice. And we're kind of mimicking it already. We're recreating it. So
that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing I give you props on, because, I mean, just seeing you so far 3 fights into your amateur career, the level of talent you possess, you could tell is on another level. And just overall, your approach to the sport, your approach to how you fight, like with the second fight against Chris Stinchcombe on 24-hour notice, it's just your whole demeanor through it and how you carried the fight. Like, that just shows you have a natural talent for this.
Yeah, I think a natural inclination for fist fighting too. That's what I've been learning through it all too. So, absolutely.
Yeah, no, and that's the crazy thing too, man. Being so young in the career, so young in the game, and you come out that first one, you have an outstanding performance. The high from that, you're like, all right, I'm gonna kick back for a second. Not even kick back, but I'm gonna take this next couple of weeks off, and then no. Boom, you get a call. You're right back in the ring.
Oh,
so you didn't even come down off of that high. You know what I mean? You were still on that, and you're right back in there. Has that done anything for you? And not only maybe your confidence overall, but for you in the gym and how hard you've trained, or how are you training a little bit different because of how that's gone?
It's funny you asked me that. I was on, not gonna lie to you guys, I was on full Modelo time, dude. So we were watching UFC fights. I think the weekend before I got that call, my fight sponsor had made a gigantic buffet of food, and that's probably the most I've ever eaten in my life sitting. So you could say I definitely wasn't mentally prepared to step in there, but again, I mean, this is just kind of what I was built for. So I felt like, I was nobody if I said no to the opportunity. And plus I was like, this cements legendary status, right? If we win this, right, it kind of adds to that legacy that we're in here to build. Right. So
right out the gate,
let's do it. And so to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I think coming off that, knowing that I could compete with other guys who are in the gym fresh, who've been doing this for a few years, and I've been sipping Modelo, yeah, it kind of gave me a little bit of a boost for sure. Nothing too big, because obviously once the head is too big, that's when you get popped, right?
Right.
Knowing, hey, look, if you put that work in, and that's something that Coach Larson kind of drove home last time when he was interviewing with you guys. He's like, I think that guy can go places if he works, right? And that's it. As long as we still got that nose to the grindstone, even in the downtime like this, not taking it, not playing patty cake, right? Still putting in work, but letting that body recover and stuff too is crucial. But yeah, dude, nose is on the grindstone, the head is down, and I'm ready to push it.
Yeah, and I give you props for that, especially because, like, I'd be following you a lot on social media, and bro, you're both super active on social media and in the gym because, like, the way you display how much you work, it's phenomenal. And it's like, when you were a kid, did you ever see yourself taking this route later in life?
Dude, to be honest with you, I was a lazy bastard as a kid. Just to be honest with you, I mean, growing up, I played baseball, and I think that was one of the things for me too. Is I saw the success I had with that, with like zero work ethic, and so I think that was the coolest thing. In finding this for me wasn't just the discipline and the outlet for other things. It was really just getting to see kind of what I'm made of and kind of pushing myself to the limit, knowing, hey, you probably never really worked your ass off before. I mean, yeah, you might have worked hard here or there, but nothing like being in fight shape for sure. So yeah,
No,
but no,
absolutely.
you never saw me being here as a kid, dude. To be real, I always saw myself in the military.
Okay.
When I was 14, I had a whole list written out. So when I wasn't playing baseball, dude, I literally waking up 3 a.m. We had a pool that I would swim laps in. I'd go run a couple miles. So that was kind of always a trajectory I thought I was going, was bagging and tagging and kind of taking point. But obviously, I chose a different direction. But it opened the door for me to be here. So definitely very grateful for my life circumstances.
Yes, sir.
said-
You got
so you
yourself
would-
as
you
a
would-
cruiserweight champ.
Right. So you said you would swim a couple laps in the morning, and
Yeah, I
run
had the whole
and run it
thing.
along?
I think that's the crucial part too. Is a lot of people have visions that they see, and this is something that McGregor kind of hones in on a lot too. You can see something all you want, but you're just a dreamer unless you got those wheels rolling. So for me, if I could see it visually, because I'm a visual learner. Same thing with languages for me. I need to see them written out. I mean, I can pick them up a little bit hearing them, but if I can see the word as it's being spoken, then I can take the subtitles away. Then I can take the book away, and I can hear it. I'm like, oh, okay. And I see in the word in my mind as it's being spoken. Right? So definitely a very visual learner.
Okay. Are you fluent in any other languages?
Conversationally fluent in Spanish. So I have technically a B1 level in speaking of Spanish. So definitely very conversationally fluent there. And then phrasal in French and German. So if I were to go to France, Germany, I could order food, hotel room, whatever. I could get around. But we're not really having deep conversations about life at that point. So still got some work to do.
That's pretty cool though. Like that's always the fascinating part with is the fact you're a fighter, but yet there's this whole other side to you as well, where you have this natural knack for languages too.
You know what? I think that's kind of the thing that I've learned about being in this realm is a lot of guys are like that. A lot of the fighters, they do have a lot of intellect or a lot of hidden talents that we don't really see, because we only get to see these people in that very one specific function, right? Which is combat. So it is cool to kind of have moments like this to sit down and talk with other people and kind of show that. But yeah, for me, dude, I kind of see it the same way as learning languages with the combats kind of helped me learn this, and this has kind of helped me learn that at the same time, because if you think about it, everything really comes down to fundamentals, right? All these guys do all this fancy shit. It's all just fundamentals strung together. And that's really all speaking intermediate or advanced Spanish is, right? It's just all the basic parts. And once you learn the rules, the grammar structure, whatever, it all kind of flows from there. You can kind of piece different combos together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for real.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you said you were in playing baseball. What position were you playing?
Take a wild guess.
I want to say pitcher.
Yeah, I was a pitcher.
You were? Okay.
That
explains the power in the shot.
Yeah, dude. It's funny because I'm fighting out of Queen Creek now, but I actually played high school ball out in Santan at Combs.
Okay.
So, my freshman year, I went like 7-1 out there. We did really well out there. And I actually thought that was my trajectory for a while. I thought that was the path I was taking. And then closer to the end of high school, I didn't have the passion for it that I used to. I don't know if it was just being burnt out from what I spent on it or what it was, but I knew I liked fist fighting. So I wanted to figure that out. So.
Well, baseball, develops that hand-eye coordination.
For sure, yeah.
And those fast twitch muscles and that making those quick decisions. So I can kind of, when you said that, I could see that translation there.
Dude, even the way that you throw a punch, when I teach people who have no idea what they're doing, how to throw a punch, the first thing I say to them is, have you played baseball before? Because it's the same principle, the same philosophy as when we're swinging a bat, right? So when the ball's coming in, the last thing through the zone is our hands, right? Everything else is loading, our hips, our core, right? Everything else is engaging, going towards the target, then the hand comes out. And that's how I teach them to jab, right? Take that step, then whip that thing out. That hand should be the last thing coming out. Whip it out. So kind of like you're whipping a baseball out of your hand last second.
Nice.
Crazy way of looking at it. Never heard it explained like that, but with the analogy of the baseball. But yeah, no, that's for real.
Yeah. Everything behind the ball, as we say. And so it kind of helps even with hitting, dude, just learning how to kind of balance weight over that back leg and how to distribute it. Everything translates. You just got to know how to see the pattern for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for real. For real. Did you do any other sports as well, or was it just baseball only?
That was my whole life.
Okay.
I played football 1 year. I was a quarterback. My O-line was terrible. And I would break your arm or go play baseball at the college level, which is always the goal for me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I was like, I can't really rationalize breaking my arm when I might have a future in this. So
yeah, for real, especially.
Played a little basketball growing up, but I was okay with that. But I ended up going with baseball instead.
Okay. Did you have any? Oh, go ahead.
My bad. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, did you have any favorite baseball players at all when you were playing?
Oh, dude. Back in the day, Roy Halladay was my number one guy.
Nice.
Which is an odd one to some to hear, but just the way he threw, the way he, kind of commanded, the mound was something that I kind of looked up to in my days pitching. So
nice.
Yeah, no, he was definitely the man when he was doing it, man. Halladay definitely controlled that mound for sure.
He was slinging it, that's for sure.
Yeah. And he was back during like the was he during the heart of the steroids or towards the end?
He'd been back into that for sure. Yeah. I mean, well, hell, it depends on who you're asking, because you ask somebody, there's guys still doing it. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Aaron Judge definitely took the Alex Rodriguez route. I
won't speculate, but I'll say, I've seen some things.
He got huge. No, but that's crazy. So outside of sports, like anything else that you did kind of hobby wise, out in like growing up?
Yeah, dude. To be honest with you, outside of, playing and being active outside and playing sports, super big nerd, dude. Languages, history was always my biggest thing. Always my biggest thing. To this day, I'm still on the fence. I'm like, I should just go back to school, dude. It's like, my grandpa's like, you could teach college classes right now with some of the stuff you tell me. And I'm like, you're right. I should do something with it instead of just sitting on it. So it's something that I've kind of, been on the fence about. But yeah, man, history, anthropology, culture, languages, the way the world functions. Got really big into astrophysics when I was 18. So I've kind of dabbled in everything. But I feel like you kind of have to, in a way, to get the big picture, kind of see how all the little puzzle pieces kind of fit from that,
So
I know a little bit about everything.
For sure.
That's how I am too. And that kind of makes me want to pose a question, because every person that studies history that I've known always finds a way to translate it into their everyday life, whether it is to find more meaning in the day-to-day things they do, or in regards to the bigger picture of what they chase. Is there anything particular in history that you kind of like derive that from?
Every moment my people have been alive, I mean, that they sacrificed, toiled to get me to where I am. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we read history in a book as almost like a movie script, something that has happened. It's almost imaginary. And we forget that, you transport yourself there and you're standing on the battlefield and you look around and it's like, well, look, these were living people who were doing what we're doing now. They're talking, they're politicking, and then somebody wrote it, a little bit later about it. And that's all it is. And we're reading about it. But, these were real events. And at some point, the way I look at history, and I think the way it shaped me moving forward, is this is history right now. We're living it, dude. And your kids, their kids, their kids, their kids, they're going to read about you, or they're not, right? And if they do read about you and you're lucky enough, it's either going to be positive, negative, or both, right? But at least I feel like you get to leave on your note, and you get to leave them whatever it is you want to leave them. So
I like that. So that's a good response to that.
Oh yeah. Man, it's crazy because it's the truth, man. Like you either, get to tell about the family members that you grew up with that are no longer here, so you got to pass that down to your kids, and that's how that history continues. So yeah. And you only get it good or bad.
Exactly right. And people forget too, history, like I said, is living. Culture is living. So when we read about Norse culture, it's like, that's cool, but it's like, I'm the same genetics, I have the same beliefs, right? So we're still kind of carrying those traditions and those histories forward too, so we can't forget that.
Yeah, exactly. Have you studied into like Nordic? I had a little speech impediment there. My apologies. Nordic mythology, all that stuff too.
Yeah, and all its sub branches, the Anglo-Saxon
Nice.
mythologies, Indo-European mythology as a whole. So that's something that's kind of cool too. A lot of people don't realize, but the Vedic text and Sanskrit itself actually is a cousin culture to all of the Indo-European cultures. So the Norse, the Celts, the Slavs. About 5,000 years ago, they all existed as one people near the Black Sea region, near the Pontic-Caspian steppe. From there, they kind of spread out, and so they take with them Indo-European symbols. The chariot, the Santashta culture, comes from the corded ware culture, and they later kind of give rise to that Vedic culture with the spoke chariots and things like that. So, yeah, dude. So I don't want to give you the whole rundown, but yeah, essentially, I've looked into all of it, dude, because that's kind of
that's dope, man.
It's been on my soul for a long time. Kind of went on that search about almost 10 years ago now. So.
Honestly, I'd recommend you to even open up a podcast, because anybody that has a good knowledge base like that, and you just naturally have a great voice and your ability to articulate yourself, I think you'd be very successful at it.
Dude, I really appreciate that. I got a couple buddies who say the same thing, and I've thought about it, but number one, I don't know if I'm ready for it. Number two, it's like, I know that takes a lot of time and energy and stuff too. So I'll have to kind of see. Maybe you guys can show me some behind the scenes stuff, and I can see if I can squeeze it in. But I agree. I think, moving forward too, this is something, the social media realm is something that I just didn't know much about, before even all the fighting stuff. So kind of seeing how, the fight game's going, social media is going. It's like, I really see this as a possible marketing tool. You know what I mean? I see it being big time. So something like that
marries well.
Be huge too.
Yeah, it definitely marries well. So prior to you stepping in the ring for the first time, had you been to other events prior? Had you already been kind of in the scene?
Dude, not at all. Not at all. I was just training by myself, doing my own thing. For quite a while last year, I was going over to a gym called Box Out. I know the guys over there that own that one, and so I was doing some boxing work with them for a little bit. That gym happens to be about 50 minutes away from where I'm located, so it wasn't necessarily super tenable long term. But great gym over there, by the way. Recommend that for anybody looking for a boxing gym. Box Out, super awesome over there. But other than that, dude, I was just mountainside fitness, in a heavy bag, watching videos, doing my own thing.
Just staying in shape naturally. That's what we were already going in before you even decided to kind of come to the fighting side.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where I feel like even just watching clips and mimicking, recreating, I mean, that's huge. It's the same thing with language. You hear it, you repeat it until it sticks, right? That was crucial for me too, and being able to pick up a lot of the fundamentals early on my own, I think was very crucial for me, having that accelerated growth, since I've been here in December. So
yeah, and hey, it's already gotten you a championship belt, so like it's gonna be very exciting to see throughout 2024, especially with your title defenses and possibly going for different divisions as well.
Absolutely, yes, sir. And I just want to say real quick, wouldn't be here without my coaches either. So I mean, they're the ones who got me here. It's like if I was a champion on my own, I'd have just stayed at Mountainside, right, and fought as an independent. But regardless of whatever tools that I had coming in, I didn't know what to do with them. So I'm glad I got a good ass bunch of guys over there to take me all the way. So
yeah, absolutely.
And we sat down with one of your coaches, just the other day and was talking to him, and you guys got a great group of guys over there, and what they've put together and their vision, and it's a great spot to be at for sure.
It is, and I think that's the number one thing I'm most grateful for is the community and the focus on the values, the morals. You know what I mean? Because I've also been to some gyms where there's none of that, and being a martial artist is it's a balance. You know what I mean? You've got to have the guy who studies languages and writes poetry or whatever, and then the guy who goes with blood on his mind, right? So, and if you don't know how to flip that switch on and off or temper it, then you run the risk of becoming a thug, is what we'll say. But I think that's one thing I really appreciate about them is they focus on making sure your mind and your spirit's right. because otherwise you can't be.
Yeah, for real. Honestly, I mentioned it to James when we were covering a Grand Prix tournament. You know, I always think of Fearless with Jet Li because you had rivaling schools and you saw what happened when ego and pride kind of polluted the morals of what that school is supposed to be about. And then it's really cool when you see them take it back to the roots, follow the true fundamentals and beliefs of what martial arts is. So I love seeing how we're almost bringing back those old school traditions to modern times.
Dude, and I'll add to that and say the one thing that I feel like I've learned in, they always talk about being cocky, being conceited versus, having, just that knowledge of what you're capable of. And I think that's the main difference is a lot of times the ego that we're talking about that's ugly, that gets you in trouble. It's one that's not really rooted in reality. It's the guy who walks around thinking he can do something or thinking he is something with no evidence to support that. However, I'm a proponent of something called divine ego, right? I think there are times which, you need to talk to yourself, especially as a fighter. I don't have one go in there and say, well, that guy's better than me. It's like, well, of course he is. That, you know what I mean? Like, that's why you're here. But that you don't think like that. You think there's nobody that can fucking stop me. There's nobody. If I'm working as hard as I've been working and I keep slaving this way, come on, son, nobody's touching me. That type of mentality, where you're not directing it at somebody, not being ugly to somebody, not conceited, but you're like, hey, look, I'm putting in the work, so I'm ready to go. I'm a proponent of that all day.
Yeah, I agree with that because otherwise, man, you go in there with the wrong mindset, you can get hurt. This ain't for the weak-hearted. If you go in there timid and you go in there thinking, like you said, like, oh no, that guy's better than me or whatever, you may not make it out in good health.
Yeah, and it's like, again, that's of course, that's why you're here, dude. It doesn't matter. And it's like there's moments like that too where it's like a shit hits the fan situation outside on the streets. It's like you don't have time to be scared. You don't even have time to think. It's like, hey, this is your next opponent. All right, I'm already on the bag. I didn't even think about it. Right, I'm not even gonna let any thoughts even creep in. We don't have time for that. Right, we got belts to win. That's my mentality. So
yeah. Right. Yeah, for real. And you almost make me think of an old book that I read too. It was, I think you'd really like it. It's called The Mystic Path to Cosmic Power by Vernon Howard. Yeah. And it's mysticism that talked about how there's a true self and a false self. Your true self is every positive form of your being, love, peace, happiness, ambition. Then there's the negative self or the false self. That's all the negative things in your life. Now, what we have a problem is that we manifest it into reality thinking our false self is actually us. Now, what I love about combat sports, too, is that it starts to break that illusion. Because think about it. Like when you think of depression, anxiety, you think of the concept of that. It's like a feral animal. The moment that you corner it and that you start to realize that it's not even real, it becomes feral. It starts to attack and do everything it can. So as soon as you learn to tame that beast, dude, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. It's so funny you say that. I actually talk about the same thing, but I refer to it with different terms. I call it the shadow body, and it's something I talk about with people who have PTSD, but any type of mental disorder in general, or any type of trauma, because you don't have to necessarily have a disorder or be diagnosed and have shit on yourself, right? But anytime you're acting out of paranoia, out of anger, out of whatever that is, that's not your true self, like you just said, dude. That's not you. You're the guy that goes out and helps people. You're the guy that, when he's in class, he wants to make sure everybody's got the combos. He's outside, making sure everyone's got some food, right? That's who you are deep down in your heart. But when you're on edge and you're on guard, that's not you. That's your shadow body, like we're talking about. It's its response basically to the triggers that it's encountering in the physical realm. So
absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's crazy too, because when you speaking of the mental health portion, when you do see people going through an episode or going through those, like you said, it's kind of an outer body experience at that moment. They may not even remember it a lot of times that it happened or remember how it happened and things like that. And it's crazy too, because, talking about just the principles of life and things and how it relates to fighting and to never give up. How many times have we seen guys just look like beat to a pulp almost? The cage is the only thing that's holding this guy up, and the other dude's fist that's really punching him back into the cage as he's falling forward, basically. And you see him dig and end up throwing a hook and laying the dude out.
Yeah.
Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman.
And then the Izzy Pajeda fight, dude. He was getting worked in the fence, yeah. So for sure.
And us at home, we're like, oh man, they need to stop it, or oh man, no, dude, he needs what the heck, get out of there, get out of, and then that happens, and then we're like, oh, but that same principle of life, he's living that moment on the other side where of the principle never give up.
That's it, dude. Yeah, that's it. And then not only never give up, but remain calm. That's
yes.
You're not going to be in the right headspace to land that shot if you're panicking, right? So you just got to weather the storm and understand, like, you're gonna survive. So
we talk about that a lot in your post fights. Like, dang man, you always look calm in the ring. You always look calm in the ring, comfortable. And it goes a long way, because now, and that's another thing too. We talk about, like, your poker face in a sense, because it frustrates. I know, as comfortable and as smooth as you're feeling, and I know it's frustrating your opponent because they're not getting anything out of it. They're not, you know what I mean?
Maybe
so,
a slight smile every now and again.
right.
Let them know I'm still there, right?
No, but it's part of that divine ego, because what that calls for is the ability to have patience, to have the ability to remain calm during the storm, and to persevere the odds.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys saying that for sure. I definitely feel I'm definitely starting to get a lot more comfortable, but even from the Preciado fight right out of the gate, I knew this is what I wanted. I was like, yeah, it sealed the deal for me. For sure.
No, yeah, it's the epitome of manifesting this into reality. And honestly, you became a breakout star and probably going to be one of the hottest prospects going through 2024 on.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you for that.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, a lot of that is, to whom you are. The 24 hours, right off the couch, ready to go. Whatever it is, you're ready to go for it. And to those that don't see, you're rooting on John. You're in the back, like, I want this. I want this. This dude is dope. I like the way his fight. I think it'll be a great style of fight. We don't get to see that a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what makes careers. That's what makes fights. And you know what I mean? So I applaud it. I love it. You know what I mean? And for both of you guys, in a sense of right now in that division, y'all are where it's at.
I agree, man. And even outside of whatever matchup we may or may not make, that guy's a fucking awesome dude. And he just got a good heart. And, I'm at that place in my life where that seems to be rare. So anytime I find those guys, I stick with them. So I'm always going to be a John Long fan the rest of my life. No matter what he does, I'm always in his corner. So if they put us against each other, so be it. If they don't, so be it. But it's always love and respect with that guy for sure.
Hey, I honestly don't see a future where you guys would probably be cornering each other, because I remember when John was walking out, you were literally just a foot away from cheering him on. Hell yeah, like you were waiting for him to come out. That's the dope part.
Yeah, I got some clips saved. You hear me hollering from the sidelines, and there's a moment too where he acknowledges me. So it was kind of cool to hear him, listening to me and shit too, and kind of listening to what I had to say and what I was able to see too from the side. So
nice.
So that leads me to a question of being new into the community, and I'm gonna call you a new vet. Like it's hard to even say new anymore because you've done so much so quick. But being a new vet in the community, how is your take on what this community brings to the table for not only just you as a fighter, but just in general, the aspect,
Well, right now I think you guys are killing. I think everybody's killing it. I think so far it's been a great opportunity for, especially people like me who don't really have a background in it, who don't really know which way to go. It's like, it's right here. You don't got to go to Vegas, you don't got to go to LA, nothing crazy like that. You got something right in your own backyard. And I think the cool thing with PFA, what they're doing right now is that they're doing a lot of the K1 events. And it seems like Thai is super big out here, but doesn't seem to be the same for K1. So I like that they're doing that. So I'd like to see that grow a lot more as well. And then I've heard some whispers through the grapevines of maybe some potential boxing matches being put on too at PFA. I don't know how true that is or is not, but just some
Definitely something they've been working on.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see too. I think you'd have a lot of success with that. So
You made your way up to Rise of the Prospects as well, right?
I did, yes, yeah.
How did you think about? What did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, the MMA. I saw the MMA event a while back, and I honestly really liked their setup on that one. To be honest with you, it definitely had that pro feel to it, if you will. You know what I mean? You could see how that, if it had the right venue, could really blow up. I was impressed, dude. And then I saw they were doing some kind of like a Muay Thai tournament or something in August. So, and
right.
what when this next PFA fight's coming. So I'm kind of keeping options open. You know what I mean? To see, stay busy. You don't want to get cold. You know what I mean? So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Looking at staying out. But yeah, I've been doing some searching, some looking around. So.
Well, you're definitely in the right place for it, because I mean, like we keep on talking about it. This certainly is becoming the new epicenter for fighting, because the amount of avenues you have to take, whether it's boxing, whether it's K1 now, whether it's Muay Thai, any of that. I mean, now we got all kinds of grappling, catch wrestling, takedown tournaments, all kinds of things. So I think you certainly came in at such a phenomenal period, because now you really get to have all the access that the world since you're at the epicenter. You get to be at the prime location where all the top talent is coming to train and to fight. So that's going to be beautiful for your career.
It's a good point. Yeah, we got a lot of people coming from out of state, like I've seen on the past couple cards. So I'm excited to see how that grows too.
For sure, man, for sure.
So any fighters kind of you grew up watching that you could say that would kind of push you or give you some influence on doing it?
To push me to fight, well, I'll start with this. I'll say the guy that I liked watching the most growing up was actually Josh Barnett. Speaking of catch wrestling,
okay.
Yeah, I was a real big fan of his style, and I really liked catch wrestling too. I just really liked that style. I thought that with like a Dutch style, stand up game would be a nasty mix. I'd like to see somebody incorporate that for sure. But Josh Barnett was a big one. And then, of course, the Notorious, obviously being of the same kind of, ethnic background. It was something I kind of got to watch him, make that rise for himself when I was still in high school and stuff too. So it was kind of like, oh, shit, like there wasn't really one of us out there, you know what I mean, before that. So having a big ginger guy out there, getting some stuff done was definitely something that was like, let's go. Let's get it done too. So
no, yeah, absolutely. Connor, he really did a lot to usher in a new era, and especially not just to bring in more fighters from that part of the world, but to really step up the game. Like I always tell people that what Connor did for the sport when he was the first one to become a double champ, he made everybody hungry. Like everybody is hungry now.
Yeah. Yeah, and he became a target, and he did the one thing that a lot of fighters don't, which is talk, market, use the mouthpiece. And he used it very well to his advantage to put himself in that position where he doesn't have to get brain damage the rest of his life. He can retire and sail off on his Lambo yacht into the sunset, wherever he wants to do. And that's really, at the end of the day, that's victory. And he's never gonna. Maybe the Khabib one, right? But he's not really gonna remember all the losses he's had. He's gonna remember all the times, that he was able to give people some money or take his grandma out or whatever. And that's really what life's about, anyway. So.
Exactly.
And the Dustin one's when he snapped his ankle, right? He might remember that one too.
Yeah. I think he still remembers that one every time he takes a step, to be honest.
Right. No, but kind of going back to what you were saying in the beginning when you were saying how you're finding how social media and fight kind of go together. I think what happened with Connor is Connor came in at a time frame where stuff was growing and changing, and people couldn't really pinpoint what was happening. They knew it was happening, but they couldn't really find it. And Connor was like, "Well, you guys don't see this? Bloop, here it is." And it just blew up, right? And I think the other thing about Connor that was really dope is kind of like what you've been saying this whole time, is the being the divine, conceding, is that little bit of trust in yourself.
Yeah.
Yep. And Connor was not afraid to go all in on himself.
Sure.
And I think that that mixed with the skill set that he had, him being able to take that showmanship, on the microphone and then go in the ring and do it,
For sure.
that really is what built his career to what it is. I mean, look at John. John's the same way. If you look at John Jones, man, his rise too. When he started talking, he started looking over there too, seeing that. But when he started talking and then going in there and doing, it put a different exclamation point on those victories.
For sure, dude. Absolutely.
Especially Connor, man. It's crazy that for a guy that has not been in the ring for as long as he has, or the octagon as long as he has, he ended on the note that he did with the ankle. He's still one of the top fighters talked about.
Yeah. That's because he put himself in that position. He talked his shit, and when it came time to do the dance, he said, "Bop, bop, bop, I'm gonna back it up," and that's what he did. And love him or hate him, he's definitely got some wild antics out there. But love him or hate him, he did it the right way. He played the game the right way.
Yeah, and I always talk about, like, Conor, he found the target for what fighters should shoot for, and then Sean O'Malley helped write the formula with, like, how we're talking with the connection between social media and fighting.
Yes.
Now, especially with you as a fighter, you gain a bigger, more broad fan base, more loyal fan base. That's what's going to present opportunities for you, whether it's for sponsorship, whether it's just for new fight opportunities, and also pay opportunities as well. So I think this is why it's such an even better time for you right now, even at an amateur level, bro.
Right. No, I concur with that 100%. I think, it's funny because people always talk about the fighting and the money and stuff too. And I'm like, but you're missing the point, right? The fighting is more the legacy thing. It's a resume builder, right? The money that you're going to make, unless you're somebody like a McGregor or, we transitioned into pure boxing, it's probably not going to be, shiny, it's not going to be the gold. I'll just leave it at that. So using that career as a brand builder is something too, maybe at some point we open an affiliate, gym with Ethos or something, right? Somewhere else where they don't have reach yet or whatever it is. You just never know. Or maybe, you're working for somebody else or you start something else. You just never know where this game can take you with the networking and stuff as well. So I'm kind of excited to see how the business opportunities kind of grow for me as well outside of it. So.
Exactly. I was going to say the business and the service opportunities opens up with it.
Yes, sir. Yep. Networking.
Got some people in here making comments for you.
Shout out to Jamie. That guy has come to almost every fight. Yeah, even the 24-hour notice one. I'm pretty sure that guy's been. Sorry, I'm been a mountainside.
We got a whole bunch of people that's been showing some love and support on Instagram too. We got your boy Tyler Larson. We got Jake Reed, Joe and Stanley in there. I mean, honestly, just looking at it, there's people here from all over the state and across the country too. So it's shout out to all you guys too. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. Salute to all you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in and all the kind words and stuff as well. Deserved or not, right? So
yeah, see, there we go.
Man, I should put some glasses on for this one.
Hey, it's okay. I'm blind as a motherfucker.
That's another thing too. When I was fighting Koklanis, he actually, I don't know if you guys remember the spinning back kick he hit me with right.
Oh.
It knocked my right contact straight out. So
really?
Yeah, you might have saw me blink a little bit. I was like I was hoping it just slid around and maybe I could reposition it, but that shit was gone. So I was like looking like a pirate the whole time.
See, that's my thing, because when I train, I refuse to have my glasses on, because when I gotta think about it, if I'm in a real fight, I'm not gonna have my glasses. So I try to adapt to that.
Dude, I'm so sorry. As you said that, I just had a flashback. So I used to pitch back in the day. I don't know if you've ever heard of rec specs, but they were like prescription goggles that you would wear, like a headband, dude. It looked like snowboarding goggles.
Okay, like Horace Grant.
Yeah, but just way dumber than anything you can conceive.
Okay.
You looked like a fish out there on the mound every time. It was hard to be intimidating, you know what I mean? When your eyes are this big. So, but yeah,
that'd be the worst part.
I got to get fixed, man. Some LASIK or something. I don't know.
Man, that's so you had one good eye, one bad eye for the rest of the. Did you find it, or did you just out for the rest of
Nah,
the fight?
yeah, I scooped it up, put it back in. I was like, yummy.
I was like, did you,
No,
in between rounds and go over to the corner?
I just I like to either excel or suffer equally. So I took the other one out, and I was like, I'll just say nothing. So either all or nothing for me. It seems like so.
No,
I'm
yeah.
not in the
Hey,
squid. We're just gonna be blind.
I'm like, shit, I better finish this one quick because it's gonna be rough.
For real. But hey, it's part of the story of fighting. It's you can't have a legacy without trials and tribulations. And I think one thing you'll really like that I always think about is it's a Latin phrase: "Malo percilisum libertatem quam quaetum civitium." I prefer liberty with danger than peace with slavery. I'd refuse to be a slave to my mind, to society, to anything else. Instead, I'd rather be free and accept the dangers of it.
Absolutely. And let me add to that: refuse to be a slave to myself too. You got to know when you're getting involved, dude. So, and I think that's been my biggest thing is I've just been in my own way for a long time. So,
yes, sir. But hey, you're setting a great example now.
I'm doing it though. So,
yeah,
yes, sir.
So we talked a lot about just legacy, history, and being talked about. When this is all said and done, what do you want people to look back and talk about and say about you and your career?
Great, dude. So I hope that when it comes time for me to bite the bullet and lay down, when you're all gathered around, I hope that none of you talk about my right hand or my fucking check hook or a question mark kick. I want my legacy to be everyone gathered around talking about all the people that he helped, all the people that he saw that same damage in and guided them down the right path, all the people he saved from crashing the fuck out and ruining their lives because he knows what it's like to be in a dark spot, all the people that he used this opportunity to build a platform so that he could pull them up with. I want him to be the guy, this guy right here, to be the guy that people talk about and say he gave a fuck about other people, and regardless of being a little rough around the edges and kind of having his own shit going on, he was solid and he gave a shit.
Yeah, I love that, man. That's a beautiful story.
It will be, but we're still right now. So
no, yeah. And what I love about just the concept of an epic is that it's about the philosophy behind it. I think we often forget how much of an impact one person can really have and set the example, because it's a domino effect. All we need is just a few more people that has the same belief as you, that has that same principle as you, to set that flame for the next generation.
That's it. Yeah, it only takes one brave heart, you know what I mean? And the rest is history. I agree with that 100%. And I've even seen that in my own personal life. I mean, hell, even now with Ethos and what we're doing, I mean, just watching the gym grow, watching all the people who started to come out to our fights and stuff too, and people that walk up to me and other fighters and ask where we train at and how can we get in and all this stuff. And yeah, you're seeing it, man. You're seeing it. Hell, I even had a buddy of mine, Rodney from Durango. He gave me a call and we were talking the other day. And at the end of the conversation, he dropped on me the fact that he actually started learning German. He's like, I've inspired him to pick it up, kind of watching videos and stuff too. So even shit like that, dude, it doesn't matter what you inspire people to do as long as it's something that betters them. You're doing the right shit, dude. So
no, yeah, and I think you're a great representation.
Yeah, and it's a web, man. Like the more you put out, the more positive you put out. Like you said, you're teaching him to learn German. Maybe it rubs off on his kid. Maybe it rubs off on his friend. Maybe it, and it's just a web. That positive energy just keeps spreading.
Yeah, dude. And I think too, a lot of times, like, especially people who've gone through shit, they can get hung up on that negative thought pattern and all that too. And dude, even if you've been genuinely wronged, some of us have been genuinely wronged. It's moments like that where you kind of learn what true patience is and true forgiveness is, because it has nothing to even do with the other person. It's about conservation of energy. It's like, okay, that guy hurt me in a major way, but me holding on to that's not going to change his behavioral patterns or her behavioral patterns or what they did or didn't do. Right. And all it's going to do is have me in that low frequency, that negative headspace. And so you kind of start to learn how to conserve energy as you go through the process. But yeah, then you get to channel it into things that are productive, like learning Spanish or punching someone in the mouth, dude. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, you're speaking at a B1 level. You got offers to go to different countries. You got a belt. So anything's possible if you can see it, but you really have to work hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's 100% true, man. Because it's like once you kind of go through stuff, and especially higher impact and stuff that takes a big toll on you. You go through it enough times to where you start to be like, all right, and you're able to set back, kind of relax when those type of things happen. So even though they may have the same effect on your quote unquote life at that moment, but it doesn't have a same overall impact. And like you said, it doesn't carry on because you've been through this situation. You've seen these type of things before, and you've kind of figured out ways to not necessarily cope, but to take it in and analyze the situation so you don't make irrational decisions like we all have in the past. It puts you at peace, man. It puts you at peace, and kind of like what you said of too, like people being wronged or just being through or putting a lot of it, because me, it wasn't nobody else, it was me putting myself through situations I didn't really have to put myself through. There was other ways to do it. You know what I mean? There was other ways to do it. And I knew about all those other ways. I knew where they were, knew how to get to them, I knew about all the other ways to do it. I just chose to do it this way.
That's a funny thing about human nature. You can be told something a million times, but until your ass gets burnt on the stove, you know what I mean? That's what it takes. We always learn the hard way, it seems, so.
Yeah. And
when you're alone with your thoughts. Oh, my bad. I said when you're alone with your thoughts, you're good. Man, that's when you start figuring stuff out.
That's it, dude. Yep. I knew you were headed there. Yep. Because it's when you're alone that all of the noise of the filth of the, hey, we should go do this, from your buddy, or, the suggestion on TV, or the filthy TV show you're watching that's subconsciously, suggesting some filth to you. Like, you don't have that shit anymore. You don't have all of those distractions. You don't have someone else telling you what you should go buy, what you should think, and what you should do. You get to sit back and be with yourself, right? You get to be with the creator, and you get to say, who am I? What do I want? And what is my divine purpose here? And so I think a lot of people too, especially me in the past, man, I've been guilty of this, directionless. They don't really know what they want. They don't really know what that purpose is. And it's not to say that you're wrong for not knowing, but if you're not at least searching, you know what I mean? And so for me, every time I get up, everything I do, every choice I make, I think, does this help or does this hinder my progress and my goal? Does this serve my divine purpose or does it hinder it, right? And I think speaking to myself that way has also kind of kept me mentally in check too, with a lot of my thoughts or behaviors, etc. So orderly, or trying to.
Hey, well, you know what? Part of this journey is being able to learn and develop as you grow. And that's the beautiful thing too. So I'm definitely excited for your career as you progress, since you're only 3 fights in. And I know for a fact, James, he's going to be on the front row too.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. I'm hoping so. I'm expecting it. So. Oh yeah.
No. I can't wait to get another one scheduled to get you back in there. So now we're 3 fights in, got the belt. What's the go-to meal post-weight cut?
Dude, it's so funny. The last one, we had what I had. So my grandpa actually flew in for the last one out of Tennessee.
That's right.
So we all actually ended up going to. I don't think it was DC. It was a steakhouse downtown Chandler. Ended up getting a steak, potatoes, everything, man. I smashed. So it's funny because like my weight fluctuates so much, as is. So I don't really have to worry about what I eat so much. Like even the day of weigh-ins for the Koklanis fight, I think like 2 hours before I was like 212. So yeah.
And what'd you weigh in at?
203.
Damn. Okay. So you got a pretty good metabolism.
I just sat in the sauna for like 30 minutes. So I was like, then Yeah, I think. But when I got back in the ring, little known fact, I'd probably say a good 215, still 216. But I weighed in around 1 o'clock the next day at like 220.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn,
so
you're packing on that muscle.
So
well,
it's you. It's not really what is how much.
yeah, dude. It's just my body responds super quick. Like I'll cut calories for like 2 days, and I'll lose it that way. Go sweat for 30 minutes, I'll lose it that way, and just my body responds really well. I mean, I could stop working out for a month, pick it up for 5-6 days, and my body automatically kind of just goes back to looking like we never left. So
Nice.
I got lucky for sure. So grateful.
Nice. Nice. Now, I have a question that I do usually ask, but I think I'm actually going to sidestep it just because of, just how you are. If there's a place that you could go anywhere in the world to visit that you've studied about, what would it be?
Ooh, that I've studied about.
Mm-hmm. Anywhere
Um,
in the world. It could be from ancient times to somewhere now.
yeah. I would go to Deutschland. I'd go to Germany. I'd go to the Teutoburg Forest, Teutoburg Forest, as they say. And I would just take in the ambiance and the energy that surrounds that place. I think one of my favorite stories of all time is Arminius, the story of Arminius, who is taken by the Romans as a child. And he's raised in Rome, becomes a Roman officer, and then is tasked with basically going back into Germania, going back into his tribal lands and patrolling them. And so all the years that he spent away from his people, all the time he spent learning another culture, custom, etc. Deep in his heart, he never forgot where he came from. And at the very first moment he betrayed the Romans. And that's actually one of their heaviest losses. I think it's the heaviest loss in Roman history. But they lost over 4 legions down there in the Teutoburg on a setup. So shout out to Arminius for knowing what's up. So
hey, I love that. That's dope as hell.
Because no matter how long he spent away from his people, that was always his blood, and he could never turn his back. And that's something that really speaks to me. So
hell yeah, that's a great answer. I love that answer.
Oh, that's dope. Because that just the context behind it and the story behind it of him being away for so long and then still being able to remember. At first sight. Because I know they didn't walk him up there like, hey, there you go. We need you to go over there. So
yeah. I mean, like I got a lot of friends here too that came from Mexico and they spoke Spanish. I'm told 7, 8 maybe, and then don't use it anymore. And you got to think it's kind of like that. And then going and learning a different language, a different religion, whatever, being taught to hate yourself and your own tribal people, and still deep down knowing that's some bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
For real.
On him, dude. Get on.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's crazy though, man. I just want to say for myself, it's been a pleasure watching just your short, recent career, man, and just how and I emphasize that for the people that don't know because of how fast it's blossomed. I don't know if you notice it because when you are in fight mode, you have your game face on, you're focused, but the fan support, even out of just your own gym, man. I see kids, I see a lot that are looking up to what you're doing and the showmanship that you have, like we talked about earlier. You're in the game as great as it and respectful the game is. If you're in a division that has killers, you notice that because you see them they don't really mess with each other. They don't really fuck with each other. They're like, yeah, there you go. So to see the respect, see the straight camaraderie and the heartfelt support that you've given John along the way and things of that nature, So I always say this, man. Fighting is one part of it. Fighting is one part of it. You could be a great fighter and slip and fall and become a superstar. You can. But becoming a superstar in this game, it's a combination of, being humble, being skillful, and just having that charisma and that character to be loved, you know. Um, and so for me, you, it's been dope to watch your growth in this, in the way you've done it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. And just a real quick off what you said, the kids coming up and wanting pictures and all that stuff after the fights. That's what the funeral. Put that picture up, not me holding the belt, but me sitting down there with the youngsters, because that's what I give a shit about. So it's been awesome.
Did I ever send you those pictures with you and the kids in the belts?
Dude, no.
Okay, I'm okay. I'm gonna make it a mission tonight to send that.
Just some pictures, and he's like, "I got them all, dude." I'm like, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure to send him. I sent it to James too, because that was his son that also took a picture with
Yeah,
you.
yeah, sure.
Yes.
Dude, yeah. Dude, honestly, there was like 3 different phones going, so I didn't even know who I was looking at, to be honest with you. But it was a good time, dude. It was a good time for sure.
No, yeah, man, you're honestly making history in the scene. Like I said, with this being the epicenter, I think you're gonna play a very important role in it.
As Kodak Black once said, I hope so. So we'll see.
Oh man,
That's the point.
but man, before we get out of here, anything you want to say, anything you want to leave us with, any shout outs?
Yeah. So, obviously typical shout outs to my coaches, over at Ethos and all my training partners. Again, that was something that was really, I guess, fucking pushed to me from day one was, listen, you can't do this shit without a team. And I was like, from my baseball days, I understand, what it means to work, with a team and to know when to fall back, but and then when to take the lead too, right? So it's been awesome for me to have those guys over there pushing me. Just wouldn't be here without them. And then obviously, my fight sponsor, Brian. He's just been crucial. What did he do? He paid for the entire physical that I had at the very beginning of the year. Paid for all the gear that I was using in the fights, dude. I say, what did he do? Not because I can't think, but because I'm like, where do I start? Yeah, dudes. Always offering. Well, hey, man. Like even before the Koklanis fight, he rented a hotel and they let me lay out there for a couple hours before the fight and get out of the heat. So just doing shit I don't deserve, but am super grateful for. So always to them, and of course, my family, the living ones. You know what I mean? Who've done so much over the years to support me and show me that love and show me, hey, look, like we believe in you too. And then of course the gods and the ancestors for getting us here. So as always.
Yes, sir. And you got Jay over here says, what's up? He's watching all the way from New Mexico.
Oh, yeah, brother, let's go. Putting
yeah.
Hope.
I am, and this is dope. Honestly, it's a genuine privilege. I know I say that as a broken record, but every time I say it, I mean it to mean it, especially unique to you. Your personality and just your demeanor and everything that you do, I respect very much, and I think is a great example for the youth. And I'm very excited to see you fight and how the future is going to be for you, man.
Dude, really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm looking forward to the next one for sure.
Hey, let's go.
And we always got to give a special shout out to all of you Ethos guys out there, man. You guys come in full force and very respectable dudes, from the Jakes to the Joe. There's so many of you guys, and you guys always come in and bring the show. So shout out to Ethos for real.
Ooh wee.
Yes, man.
Always.
But yeah, man, we really appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us and letting us into what you are and who you are as a person. I know the fans, this is what they like to see.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you guys having me for sure, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man. It's been awesome. It was a dope ass interview.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, I'll catch you fellas on the next one.
We'll see you soon, brother.
Peace, love. That was a great one. That one actually was even way better than I expected. Like I already knew it was gonna be a great one, but that was dope.
Yeah, no, and it's always cool when you don't got to think about where you want to drive the conversation, and it just kind of flows.
Yeah,
Kendrik's a dope dude.
Yeah, dude, he surprised the hell out of me with his knowledge base. Like, it makes sense too on the fact he's able to articulate himself so well. Because I mean, typically, like reading a lot, studying, then learning history, it helps you give a basis to have a conversation off of, and that really makes a lot of sense with him. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, that was definitely dope, the history and everything. And that's honestly why reason for the show. That's the reason we do the show. That's the reason, the whole thing is here is we want to learn more about, you know, the guys, behind the guy behind the fighter. Is that the right
Hmm.
way to say that?
I'm pretty
The
sure.
man behind the fighter. You know what I mean? But what else is there? Because not everybody's gonna fight forever.
Hmm.
And like he said, take this time to be able to build your brand. You know what I mean? So it's really dope to see what's going on, Hemo.
What's up?
Um, yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's dope. It's crazy to see. Like I know we already talked about before, but just from 2 years ago when we first linked up and started doing all this stuff to now, like we started off with interviewing like Brooks Callahan, we did Christian Byers, all these guys starting off, and now we've come so far that now we got the Kendrick Davidsons, we got all these new fighters that's emerged and come out as superstars.
yeah. No, for real. And the list is growing and growing and growing, man. And much respect to all the fighters out here. And as much as we give Arizona big, 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 big props all the time and love. We got to give a shout out from the guys that do travel out here a lot. We got our guys at a Paradox over there in Vegas. We got quite a few guys now in the circuit. Coming out of California, uh, fighters coming out of New Mexico. So just a
For
lot,
real.
man.
I mean,
Just a
we've
lot.
even had guys all the way from Switzerland compete over here. We got guys that's come from Albania, Nigeria, like just the overall talent pool here in comparison to like where they're all coming from is insane. So it's shout out to all of them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh man, so what do we have? What else is coming up?
Well, I know we got a few. We got OG Boxing coming up. A guest we've had on before, Adam Lopez. He is going to be fighting on that card. I don't remember his opponent's name though.
That's Father's Day weekend, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And quote unquote, I do find it a little humorous. As part of the promotion, they're rolling with Father's Day. They're saying, "Who's your daddy?"
Yeah,
They also,
no, I thought that was really funny. I thought that was really
yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah. And I
Um,
know too.
so
Got Iron
question,
Boy.
question:
What's up?
Is J. Paul Mike Tyson happy? Honest opinion, man. Don't hold back. Don't be swaying because you want to be politically correct. Either give me your honest opinion.
I still think it's gonna happen.
I
I just
called
think it's.
bullshit a long time ago, Josh. I said this was bullshit. It was a marketing scheme. Shit wasn't gonna happen. I stand by it. This shit ain't gonna happen.
I mean, Jake Paul is already notorious for beating up older people. I say that humorously. So I'm pretty certain the fight is gonna happen. He's just gonna wait because I mean, bro, how are you gonna miss or how are you gonna try to miss out on probably one of the biggest paydays so far? You're gonna be fighting Mike Tyson. Like I'm pretty sure that fight's still gonna go through. It's just
Do you
gonna
know
be
how
a joke.
much? Do you know how much money they made just from saying it?
Oh, tremendous amount.
Just the
But
interviews alone. Like, look, Mike Tyson been chilling. He been healthy. He been smoking weed. Has a little talk show. He been scaring people on his talk show on the other side of the seat. Across the table from him. Everything been good. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson gets signed. It's announced to the world. You know, gaining momentum. Tyson gets on a plane, and all of a sudden he's having issues, and they got to stop the plane. And it looks no. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna
I
happen.
don't know. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Do it. But now, if
He
you
gonna
ask
fight
me to
Tommy.
fight it,
He gonna fight Tommy Fury again. Watch.
honestly, bro. Honestly, bro. Like, I haven't seen anything from Tommy Fury since he fought KSI.
That was a funny matchup too. That whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
You see one dude standing there, a little hesitant, and you just see the other dude constantly bouncing up and down like he's Venom Page.
Yeah. That was a funny one, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we also got Iron Boy. That's going to be at the end of June. And then we'll got PFA. That'll be going up in July as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta look forward to that. But yeah, man. Anything you gotta say before we get out of here today?
No, man. Just as always, peace, love, chicken grease. It's a privilege to be able to have the show or be on the show with you. Have so many great fans, so many great followers, and just the fact too, we know time and time again, a new fighter, a new personality speak with, a new character, and to getting to know so many stories. Like it's blessed to be able to be in this position.
No, I agree, man. I agree. It's been fun. Already.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's just beginning.
Squaw.
This sound like that goddamn bird from Up. The hell was that? Whatever that was. But yeah, man. I look forward to seeing what's next, what's to come, what's in the latter half of the year. Um, you know, between like we always talk about Rough, PFA, Rise, between those three major ones, I can't wait to see what's next. And then SAA, the finalist tournament, the finals of the tournament, I should say, in August. That's going to be an amazing card. So a lot of stuff to look forward to already, and can't wait to see what's else in store for us and where we go from here. And catch us same time. Well, and I was gonna say same time, same place, but no, catch us on Tuesdays. Today is Wednesday. Catch us on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. every Tuesday, Josh.
You heard?
You heard? All right. Till next time. I'm Jay.
Peace, love, chicken grease, and I'm Josh.
I'm Jay. I'm peace, love, chicken grease.
I didn't know you were gonna say your name.
Well, I was trying to get Josh. No, I'm just playing. But no, till next time, y'all. Peace.
Chorizo tacos.
All sports, all plays, ball courts, pump fakes, crossovers, and some more. All sports, all plays, ballparks, home base, miss that speed by, that's 3 strikes. We know what's happening in the league. All sports, all plays, ASAP. Cause we know what's going down with your team. We'll bring you up to speed ASAP. Not talking about Rihanna's baby daddy, it's the network.